Well, joining us here on the Allen Americans podcast, what an honor for Throwback Thursday. And my goodness, look at that hair. That is just classic Schaafsma. And our former captain, JAMIE Schaafsma, joins us. I'm going to give you some applause because, man, first of all, it's great to see you. But second of all, wow, that do. How long does it take you to do your hair in the morning?
It takes me about 30 seconds. So I literally just put a little bit of gel through it, but no, this is a COVID cut. This is Nicole's haircut. She gave me this because, all the hairdressers are closed. So it's getting a bit long. So I don't know. At least I'm getting compliments from you. So
it looks good. Tell Nicole and everything she does turns to gold. She's great. What a great hockey wife, hockey mom, Nicole Schaafsma. Talk about this whole COVID thing. You're not playing anymore, obviously, but what would you think if you were playing the game right now? How would you be handling this? Because number one, you want to stay in shape. You want to work out every day. How do you think you'd handle this whole situation?
Yeah, I mean, you can only do the things that are in your control. So, it would be tough. I think a lot of guys are, trying to do the at-home workouts and stuff like that. But it seems things are slowly opening up now. So I've seen some guys, starting to do shots, and whether it's in their backyard or they're able to go to a facility now where they can shoot some pucks and do some different things. But
and let's clarify there, shots as in taking shots with a hockey puck, not tipping the cup up and having a good time.
Yeah, no, I'm taking the shots now that I don't have to worry about staying in shape. But no, I'm talking about them taking shots for hockey, practicing their shot. A few of my buddies, I've just seen them recently doing stuff like that. And, I have Sutter's in hockey, so his season came to an end, and we have a little setup in the basement where he can work on his stick handling and shooting and stuff like that. So, that's what he's been doing. I just sit there with my beer and just tell him what to do. But I feel bad for the guys. I guess, the timing of me having a different job was maybe a little fortunate because, a lot of guys just got, left out to dry a little bit. It was, it just ended so abruptly the season. And, you practice all summer and play all year to be able to make the playoffs and make that run. And I'm sure it's very disappointing for, everyone in hockey that's, especially ECHL, the season's canceled and, those paychecks stop and the guys in the minors, they're the ones not making a lot of money. So it makes that even harder on the guys. So, it's tough. It's tough to see, but I think it's something that, hockey players are kind of conditioned to go through the ups and downs. And, the character of those guys in the minors is incredible. So I'm sure guys are taking it in stride and doing what they can to get through this time.
So you'll go down as one of the most popular players to ever play in an Allen sweater. JAMIE Schaafsma, by the way, former captain of the Allen Americans, joining us here on a Throwback Thursday. But you spent a lot of time in Europe. I know you were in Italy, but give us kind of your tour of Europe and how that all came about for you.
So my whole career started because, after I was done junior, I didn't have a clear path of where hockey would bring me. I wanted to go to university and play there, but I never had any scholarship offers. So, I would have had to pay to go to university, and I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to take or pursue. And then I had this opportunity from the Netherlands where a general manager from a team called the Geleen Smoke Eaters, they reached out to me and said, would you be interested in coming over to the Netherlands? You have a Dutch last name. Is there any way you could get a passport? So that way they could make the working visa work a lot easier. And it just, I kind of at the time was like, well, this might be cool. Go travel to the Netherlands and an opportunity to play hockey. And the money wasn't great, but, I was looking at it as an experience and a chance to continue to play hockey. And my dad was born in the Netherlands, so I was able to get a passport, which made things a lot easier for me. And it also opened up the opportunity for me to play on the Dutch national team, which I ended up doing. You had to serve 3 seasons over there to be eligible for that. So that was kind of my plan, and I was enjoying it over there. And so that was my start. And, I had some success in that country, and I loved living there. The culture in the Netherlands was amazing. The people I met, it was a really fun place to play hockey. The level of hockey was probably a little bit better because it was men and it was a pro league than the junior I was playing over here. It wasn't the best league of hockey, but it was a start for me. And, I was able to build on that and move up the ranks in Europe. And I moved to Italy, which was a stronger league and a little more money. And then I moved to the DL2, which was at the time called the Bundesliga, and played there, and then went back to Italy. And I love my time in Italy too. It was, again, it's small hockey communities there where I met some great people and built some relationships with some people there, and loved my time there, and grew as a hockey player as well. Was able to see a lot of the world and travel because of hockey. So yeah, I mean, Europe was amazing. It's kind of weird how my hockey career went, because a lot of people start in North America and then end up in Europe for the money. And I kind of went there and then came back trying to get an opportunity to move up the ranks here, and be closer to home as my family was growing. So, but no, I loved Europe. It was great. I'll always remember those experiences that, were pretty incredible.
If my memory serves me right, I think when you came back to the States, you started in Flint, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So my first year back was in Flint,
yep.
In the IHL, and our coach was Jason Mazzotti. He actually had spent some time in Italy, and he brought me back, asked if I'd be interested. And Nicole and I were living in Windsor. She was working in Windsor, so I would cross the border and drive every day. And it just kind of worked for us. And that season turned out to be a pretty good run too, where we lost in the finals to Fort Wayne, actually.
Wow. And if I remember right, I think you told me the story. Didn't you play with former NHL player Brian Smolinski? Wasn't he on that team?
Yeah. I played with Smoke was on that team, and Pascal Rayom was actually our captain. Yeah. And he had won a Stanley Cup with New Jersey. So, it was a great roster. We had kind of struggled all year, to be honest, and just snuck into the playoffs. And then we knocked off Muskegon, and I think Costi was on that team. He might have been a rookie. And we beat them in the first round, and then we went on to face Fort Wayne in the finals and lost to them, I think, in 5 games. But it was a great run, and I had a successful year there. So I really liked my time there. But then the IHL folded that year. Mm-hmm. And there was no longer a team in Flint, and I had an opportunity again to go back to Europe. In Italy, where those years I kind of chased the money. I got offered some pretty good money to go play in Val Gardena, and they wanted to win a championship, so they had a bigger budget. They were in the second Italian league, and they were looking to move up to the first. So, and I went there with a couple guys I'd previously played with, and we lost 2 years in a row in the finals there. So I ended up losing 3 years in the finals before coming to Allen. I dealt with a lot of heartbreak in those years. But, it was all a great experience. And then, obviously coming to Allen is finally where my success really broke out. And we did win a championship in Italy when I was in Bolzano. So before those 3 years where I lost in the finals. I came to Allen, and I knew right away our roster. I was like, wow, this is a great team. It was fun to play every day because we had such a talented roster.
And your captain and an MVP of the finals. If my memory serves me right, here you go. You got McMillan, then Schaafsma, then Hansen, then Costello for our MVPs for the 4 championships. Talk about being the captain under Steve Martinson. You mentioned you played under Mizzotti, great coach in his own right. He played with some big-time former NHL players, Malinsky as well. But talk about this Allen team and your leadership role, us winning that second championship under your leadership. What made it special? Give me some great memories from your time in Allen.
When I came there, I wouldn't say I was a leader at all my first year. You came in, we had those minority owners of Matt Vichuk and Mike Medano and
Belfour.
And Belfour was our goalie coach, and you had Craig Ludwig, and so we had all these NHLers that were around that team, which was very exciting. And then you had guys like Bootlin with NHL experience, and you had the Ludwigs, and Berube was captain, I believe. It was just a great team. So I just came in and tried to do my part that first year, and we had a tough team too that year. So I was very comfortable on the ice to do whatever I wanted, and I didn't really know much about Marty when I came. But that first year he rode me pretty hard. He was pretty tough on some guys, and I definitely fell into that category my first year. And I think he could sense it in my character that I was a guy who kind of thrived off that, and could take him pushing me constantly and always challenging me. And those, I feel, are the coaches that I usually played best for. And I really respected Marty, his winning record. And to be honest, I found him to be pretty humorous with everything he does on a day-to-day basis. So, it was great to play for a coach like him, and our talented team. It seemed like that year I was just in the back of my mind that I knew we were going to win. But then in the playoffs, things, it was a struggle, and going into Game 7 and winning in overtime was it was such an unbelievable feeling that, you felt on top of the world in that moment. It was such a good feeling. You can still see it in the video if you watch the replay, how excited guys were, and just, it almost felt like relief at the same time because there was so much pressure, and it just came down to the last second. And, what a win that was. So, that one probably goes down as one of my favorite, just because of how it all played out. So, that first championship was so awesome, and, what an incredible way to win. So, and then I think the next 2 years, we always won on home ice in Allen too, which was so nice. Having those championships and those parties, and it was so fun. And the guys on that team, it was a special group with Lucan and that core group with Berube and the Ludwigs and Bootlin. And, there's a few guys that were there for a few years in a row. And, it was a great group. It was so fun. It was probably really, those 3 years were probably the funnest years of my career. I look back on that time in Allen, very fondly. It was an amazing time, and those were amazing teams we always had.
Well, Schaafs, I can't thank you enough for doing this. Great to see you. 37 years old now, but you still look like you're about 19 and look like you could still play. And let me just say this, as a broadcaster, it was a pleasure to call your games. And the one thing, I always felt very confident. If I ever needed reassurance, I remember a few times saying to me, we're going to win this game. And as soon as it came from Schaafsma, it was gospel. It was going to happen. It was done. I know the fans love you. And number 22, anytime I see that number, I always think about JAMIE SCHAAFSMA, and give my best to your family and, everybody. Because, you guys were a big part of Allen for a long time, and we miss you. And let's do this again soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks a lot, Tommy. And, I missed you guys in Allen. It was great there. And, I just want to say hi to all the fans and, what an incredible run it was while I was there. And thanks a lot for having me on here.
All right. Throwback Thursday, and Allen Americans, or former Allen Americans captain, JAMIE SCHAAFSMA.